Salutations, fellow Earthlings. My name is Brianna Fortunate.
And I'm Jenna, and we'll be your science teachers today. During today's 5-minute lesson, we'll be discussing Chapter 7, Lesson 4 in our Honors Biology textbook.
It's all about how photosynthesis is a redox process, just like cellular respiration.
So without further ado,
let's make like eggs and get crack-a-lackin', folks.
Now, over Thanksgiving break, you might have forgotten what a redox reaction even is.
I know I sure did.
But for today's lesson, however, it is imperative that you know what they are.
Otherwise, you won't understand a single thing we're saying, and you'll be really confused, like I am most of the time. So, a redox reaction is short for an oxidation-reduction reaction. This is a chemical reaction that involves the transfer of electrons, and it's super counterintuitive. You'll see.
In oxidation, a substance loses electrons, and in reduction, a substance gains electrons. Confusing, right? You can remember these two processes by using the mnemonic OIL rig. OIL stands for oxidation is losing, and rig stands for reduction is gaining.
Now, let's review redox reactions in cellular respiration. This will be important later on when we compare the cellular respiration redox reaction equation to that of photosynthesis. In the following equations, you cannot see any electron transfers, obviously, because they're like super small and yeah. Instead, you see changes in the location of hydrogen atoms. The movements of the hydrogen atoms represents the electron transfers. Because each hydrogen atom, which consists of one electron and one proton, gives up an electron. Therefore, this hydrogen ion is written as H+, because it has one more proton represented by a plus sign than electrons represented by a negative sign.
During cellular respiration, the energy in a glucose molecule is harvested by oxidizing the glucose to carbon dioxide. Glucose loses electrons and hydrogen. Meanwhile, oxygen is reduced to water. Oxygen gains electrons and hydrogen. Remember, oxidation and reduction always go hand in hand. Notice how the number of atoms of each element is the same on both sides of the yield arrow. On the reactant side, there are 6 carbons, 12 hydrogens, and 18 oxygens. On the product side, there are 6 carbons, 12 hydrogens, and 18 oxygens as well. Remember the law of conservation of matter. Matter is neither created nor destroyed. So the number of atoms of each element remains the same, it's just the organization of those atoms that changes.
Now, we will learn about the redox reactions of photosynthesis. In photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is reduced to glucose. So the carbon dioxide gains electrons along with hydrogen ions from water. The water is oxidized to oxygen, meaning that the water loses electrons and therefore hydrogen ions. Once again, if we write out the total number of atoms of each element, they are equal on each side. They just got rearranged.
By the way, if you look at each equation, you will see that they are just the inverses of each other.
Alright, what are we learning next?
Well, I was thinking about discussing energy and its relationship to each of these redox reactions.
You know what? I think that sounds swell. Let's get into it.
The cellular respiration redox reaction process involves many energy-releasing reactions or exergonic reactions. A little bit of review from Chapter 5, Lesson 11 there. During this reaction, electrons lose potential energy as they are passed down an electron transport chain to oxygen. Energy is released along the chain during electron transport, and the mitochondrion uses some of this energy to create ATP.
On the other hand, photosynthesis redox reactions require energy to produce the plant's energy-rich food, which makes it an endergonic reaction. During photosynthesis, the potential energy of electrons increases as they move from water to carbon dioxide. This energy boost is provided by the light energy captured by chlorophyll molecules in the chloroplast.
So we thought we'd do a bit of a fun review to wrap up this video and recap all of that new info.
But not just any review, okay? But a wrap review to wrap it all up. See what I did there? Wrap. Alright, I'll just start.
Redox reactions are only just a fraction of the wacky things in bio that always seem to happen. Redox reactions are when electrons do a funky dance and they move from place to place like they're wearing hammer pants. When electrons move away, it means they're oxidizing. Though they may be homesick, they keep themselves from crying because they'll get a new crib that's totally electrifying.
The magnum opus of my musical career.
Yeah, sure. So we hope you enjoyed that video, and we hope you learned something new.
Well, that's all the sciencey knowledge for today.
Peace out.